Welcome, Hades here. I'm going to be showing you how to study and break down the head, just like you can see here. Some of you may know the Asara head. This here is based on that, but the Asara head can feel quite complicated. But I'm going to just take the basic planes here, so that we just have this. We already know how to draw the eyes, nose, mouth and ears from the last video. Now all we need to do is put it all together onto this head template. Easy. I'll leave a link down below so you can try out this 3D head model. You can also change the lighting, which is super useful. Okay, let's take a closer look at the head template. I guess you could study this without having studied the skull, but from my experience, it has helped me a lot. So it's completely up to you whether or not you choose to study the skull, but I would highly recommend it. So what you'll do is take this and apply it to reference, as you'll see me do later on in this video. So to find out what the head transitions to the side, look for that peak of the eyebrow. Sometimes it's subtle, but it's there. If you continue down the eyebrow, you'll find the edge of the eye socket down to the cheekbones, and then sweep down past the corner of the lips to the chin. Ideally, you want to find ref like this, where the lighting clearly shows the side plane of the head. In the last video, someone asked about drawing the other eye. When I draw eyes, I always start by placing circles for the eyeballs, and then I draw the lids over them, like I showed in the last video. Right, eyeballs are just spheres and ellipses. So that's my advice. Place the eyeballs and draw over them. That way you're thinking about the form, rather than just copying what you see. And when it comes to proportions, I like to use Armanadori's technique of using triangles. If you watch his Reference Wednesday videos, you'll see him do this quite a lot. And I like to see how things relate by dropping a vertical line. I've done that here in red. How does the edge of the nose relate to the corner of the eye? Or the nose to the mouth? Stuff like that. Getting the proportions right can really feel very frustrating, but the more you do this, the more heads you draw, the easier it will become. I actually prefer to change my reference, as it's more fun and more interesting for me. One-to-one copies don't appeal to me as much, but everyone's different. Okay, now for practice. Go find ref photos and trace over them to find these basic planes, and redraw your breakdown next to it. And the goal here isn't to make a pretty drawing, we're just trying to understand the basic structure of the head. Once that's all in place, you can render to your heart's content. I've learned so much by doing these. Tracing over the ref is such a good tool for learning. It's really helped me so much. Drawing the eyes from this angle is quite challenging, but remember what I said earlier. Start with the eyeballs and draw the eyelids over them. And whenever I'm really struggling with a reference, I'll just overlay my drawing on top of the ref to see what I'm doing wrong. Another thing you can do is just set aside your drawing and come back to it with fresh eyes later. And that way you'll really notice where the mistakes are. Some people have faces with clear plane changes, whereas some have very smooth plane changes. So those with the clearer plane changes might be the best ones to study. If there's some interest, I'll live stream some of these breakdowns. After a while, when you get used to this, I'd recommend timing yourself. Try to do all this in, let's say, 10 minutes. You'll get a lot of mileage out of it if you do that. Army's 100 head challenge won't seem so difficult when you can work that fast. Okay, so what's next after all this? Now you can really start having fun. You can start learning how to render, experiment with different styles. And rendering does take time to learn too, but at least you now understand the structure of the head. And if you're like me, you can dive into the world of shape design and start learning about stylization. In the future, I think I'll make some videos about shape design and how to start stylizing and pushing proportions and all that kind of stuff. All the real fun stuff. And if you're tired of studying the faces of models, I suggest going on Earthsworld.com, where you can find a whole variety of faces. These are some studies I did from that website. Well, that'll be all from me. Leave a like if you found this video useful, and I'll see you all in the next one.